Welcome to the end of the world, my friends. I'm Scorpio, and the Neo Skulls are my boys. Ain't nothing I love more than to play in the flames. Forget any deals you may have made with my brother Hector and his barracudas. The Neo Skulls are gonna send you to a watery grave. Look, our newest toy, fresh from your armory. You don't mind us borrowing a couple of your warheads, do you? We've been planning this for years. There are countless launching platforms. You can try to stop us if you're tired of living. We're ready for you. Don't worry, you'll get all your missiles back. Just take a look at the sky over the next few days. I have to admit, I get a warm feeling when I see things. It's always first impressions that count.
The Ark has reached the target coordinates.
I gotta admit, you're harder to get rid of than a tick. But I'm afraid the whole superhero thing's gonna end in this sector. Our headquarters is impregnable. The World Council made a fatal mistake sending you into the Lion's Den.
The World Council has full confidence in your abilities. Your directive? Fastest possible neutralization of the pirate harbor in this sector.
So, I decided to go as the Eden Initiative.
This job was made for you.
Problem with this map is that at some point, and it is a timed event, the Neo Skulls will come after you with a very, very large fleet. And the problem is that you can't really defend this with any assortment of ships you can make. Currently there's a bug in the game where potentially you can only buy one warship or battleship, and this makes it pretty indefensible by any other means. So this can be a pretty long video. My strategy involves turtling up with harbor cannons and getting one battleship, a flagship, and just building up a civilization from a defensive position. I'll be slowly wiping out this guy's armies in a defensive stance, and then I will push on him and wipe out his base. I also decided to show that you can in fact destroy his missile turrets. Or missile launch sites. I destroyed one of them total in doing this. So this one's kind of unique. You start with 3 ships instead of just the one, and they're all loaded down with supplies, so you can get started pretty fast. The attack is clearly not a bug because they give you tons of supplies to build up very quickly to a level where you can defend this. So I'll place my depots close to the mines, that way later on I can expose them pretty fast. But I don't want to build too much around the mines because then my mine carts will get loaded down with all this other crap. So yeah, you always have this exact same map no matter what. The only thing that will change is the location of the Global Trust, the Eden Initiative, and SAAT, and the other thing that may change is your harbor position. What I have here is probably the optimal position. This is because when you place your repair tower, you'll have the fastest route to repair when you attack. So what you can probably see on the map is that this map is actually loaded full of just floating groups of ships, and this makes it very difficult early on. So yeah, you can't just go guns out like you did in the first two missions. This one you have to slowly plan through. And as far as I know, no one really plays this one more than once, just because the reward of the 10 points isn't actually worth the time invested. If you just want to grind out your position on the event ladder, you just grind out the second one over and over and over and over. This one's just not worth it. I suspect the guys who are ultra high might just be exposing like save states and just winning over and over and over through save states. That's just a suspicion. I haven't actually checked whether or not whether you can do this or not. I would be surprised if you couldn't. So yeah, I'm trying to build a lot of buildings very quickly, and I'm gonna need about 5 to 6 times as many homes as this in the end. So overbuilding is not a bad idea just yet. The general tactic that I'm going to be using for moving up will be to basically do my orders in reverse. Normally what you do is you put your shipyard down first, get your ships out, and then once you can defend yourself, put out your glass. What I'm going to do is put my glass out, because the ships that I'll be defending with are not from my shipyard.
Now available.
And so I'm just going to be heavy on macro. Just building up lots of homes, lots of money, lots of supplies. Yeah. And you start off with a lot of supplies, so you should kind of burst like this, have no concern at all for the future. Because you can also buy supplies from Global Trust and Eden Initiative, so no worries. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I send my dude off to go to the Eden Initiative to get more supplies. This has actually ended up being a mistake. There's battleships here you can buy. I decide to go to here, and I get caught at some point. And then I end up prematurely buying my battleship. The reason why you don't want to buy your battleship right away is that it just sinks on your money, and money's pretty limited early on. So I'm just sneaking around trying to get through these dudes. There's a lot of waiting involved. You have to let them patrol around, and unfortunately I'm a little bit too antsy on the way back and I get caught. So yeah, make sure to buy lots of building supplies, and you're also going to buy munitions. You will need these for your guard towers, because unfortunately you're not going to have a munitions bay down at time before this attack comes.
This quest just came in from HQ.
Buy building supplies, buy munitions, and luckily for me the Global Trust is right next door, so I can just buy from him too.
The uncontrolled release of radioactive material would have a devastating
just building
impact on the
supplies right
entire
now. Tools
ecosystem
might be
in
later,
this
but
sector,
probably
not
not.
to mention the civilian casualties.
This quest is actually insanely easy. You just drop off a few supplies right next to your base. You won't have to engage any enemies, just really easy stuff. And I will eventually do it. You only get 50 of these influence plaque things. Not really sure what they're actually called. Licenses, I think it's called. Yeah, licenses. You only get like 50 of them, and that is just enough to buy you nothing at all. So what I do is I use my tier 1 political ability with the presidential figure father. And what this will do is convert plaques into money over time. So I'll be getting about 5,000 or 6,000 for 50 plaques or licenses. And this is where I get caught. I immediately activate my battleship because I want to save my ship, and it's really close. So yeah, I'm not sure if I can do this or not. Normally if I just lose this right off the bat, I would actually just stop and I'd start over. So this is a pretty serious little engagement. You don't want to run away with your dude, because you're just going to take damage and not do any damage. But once your main ship shows up, you do want to run away, because eventually they will turn around and target your big guy. So even though the area had very little health, I was hoping that if I snared them both, they'd turn towards me and attack my ship, which they do end up doing. My main ship, it it barely gets away. Like one more hit and it would have been dead. So AI not particularly great in the game either. And yeah, this whole game is like everything's very close. So yeah, don't be surprised if you fail a couple of times at this. By right-clicking on the ship, I put it into patrol mode, and so he's going to guide my ship back. But unfortunately, if my ship actually took a single hit, it would just die. So yeah, just continuing to build more homes. I want to unlock every ability. Eventually I'll lay down some wine, and I will yeah, move up. So this part's pretty dry, it's pretty obvious, and it doesn't really need commentary. So I'll step back to you when I start doing some pirate hunting.
Energy supply inadequate.
Alright, so back for some pirate hunting. I'm just turning in this quest real quick. I do this basically so I just get more money. Since again, money gets really tight. So I'm just kind of scanning here and you can see the arrow going up. It indicates that these things are going to move up as soon as they get enough resources.
Are you smiling because you completed? Hey, a person can count on you.
So this quest is done. And time to get my money. Hit the political tab, and I click on this first one. If you want to pause that and go back, you can read it. But basically what it says is that I'm trading my licenses for money over time. It's really weird playing with Father as president, considering that I spent, you know, a good 2 or 3 days on a campaign with him as the mortal enemy of all man. I guess it's a little bit ironic that a homicidal robot rules mankind. So, like I said, you want to play pretty pretty passive in this game, don't risk too much, because any moment it can just turn on you. And later on when I'm booming, like you'll see, it can just turn pretty fast. Like you'll just lose ships left and right. You just really have to stare at that minimap and pay attention.
Expanded.
Emotes are pretty useful, they'll tell you as soon as you're under attack. So yeah, right now I'm just going to get more resources, but I want to get rid of these pirates in the way. And I'm doing this just to kind of clear the path so that later on when I need them, it'll just be a lot easier. I'm using the large ship as bait, hoping that they'll go for him, but currently the game's bugged and they're not baited by the first unit that shows up. This actually gets fixed while I'm playing the game. Like, because this is so buggy, they're just constantly fixing it, and I do get bits of lag left and right. So I don't want to kill too many pirates, because otherwise I can get surprised.
What's the deal?
So, just what I'm doing is just buying more resources. I'm going to macro up my base, and eventually I'll be able to get some ships. You're not going to have as many ships as you have in the other missions. The other missions you had 6 and 7, I think, and this one you'll probably get about 3 or 4, maybe 5. So, yeah, pretty rough.
Game saved. Additional buildings now available. Alert. Registering attack on one of your vehicles.
There's an element of risk involved. That is why I am asking you. Failing really isn't part of my repertoire.
quest is actually currently
Vehicle
bugged,
under
and
attack.
it's not doable. Maybe it got hotfixed while I was playing, but basically what happens is that it tells you that you have all 4 items you need from searching for the islands, and that they are they're in your
Agreed.
in your ship, but they're not, and you can't really turn it in, so you just kind of throw it away because it just becomes a distraction, and it's kind of stupid.
Energy supply inadequate.
I suspect that they have fixed it by now, though.
Eco balance. Values rising.